Hi, this is Steve Owens with School of Hollywood and Entertainment World, and we have James Suttles with us today. How you doing, James?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
Oh, pretty good. You got to be excited. You got a new movie that's coming to Redbox, and then it's going into the to every digital platform out there.
Yeah, it's something different. We did a 2-week exclusive with Redbox starting on July 6th, and then July 20th, we hit all of the platforms out there.
Oh, wow. Congratulations on that. I don't want to give too much of the plot away, so I'm going to let you, because on a horror film, you don't know who's going to die, and especially from me. So I'm going to let you tell us the story of The Nest.
Yeah. So the Nest is about a family who they have a young daughter. And early in the film, she acquires a teddy bear from a yard sale, something you should never buy a teddy bear at, probably. And inside of that teddy bear are some creatures that sort of upend their life and change their family dynamics for the bad.
Yeah. And so, in other words, it's kind of a little creepy, so to speak.
Yeah, it's definitely, I don't want to mislead people and say it's a creature film, but there are creatures in it. It's very much what I would call sort of a cerebral horror drama. It's really about the family falling apart and what's causing that family to fall apart, essentially. It's definitely, I would say it's creepy. There's some creepy crawlies in it. Little girl is creepy in and of itself. I think she did a fantastic job, but yeah, it's a creepy film. I would give it definitely that description for sure.
So where was the movie shot at?
So I'm based out of Asheville, North Carolina. I have a studio and a grip and electric camera rental house. And about once a year, I like to put together a film like this. And so we shot it here in the mountains of Western North Carolina.
Tell us about who you cast as the actors for the leads.
Yeah, so we had Dee Wallace. We brought her in to play. She's typically cast as a mother, and one thing that she'll tell you is she was excited when she was offered a role that was anything but a mother. She plays a family friend who is very important to sort of how the plot develops and how these creatures kind of take over the family and affect their family dynamic. Then we have Maple Suttles, who's actually my daughter. I cast her as the little girl that's featured in the poster. I'm always hesitant to tell people that I cast my daughter, but I promise we put her through her paces when it came to casting. So it wasn't, I definitely didn't develop this film and the idea of casting her for it. And then actor named Kevin Patrick Murphy, who's he's done quite a bit. He's done Walking Dead. He's had a lot of guest starring roles in a lot of shows and films. He plays the father. And then Sarah Novotel plays the mother, who is fantastic. She's out of Atlanta now. She had just moved from LA about 6 months, I think it was, if I remember correctly, before we cast her in this.
Well, Dee has played in some really classics, Cujo and Halloween. How tough was it for you to actually center on the project?
So, this is I want to say this is the fourth or fifth film that I've produced, like I said, annually. And so we've gotten pretty good at being able to cast the actors that we put our eyes on for the roles. A big part of Dee's casting was A, she was perfect for the role, but B, I'm a kid of the 80s. And so I've kind of got this list of actors that I would love to work with, and she was one of them. And so my producing partner, Jennifer Ray, she has some connections with the casting agent out of the West Coast, and she just happened to know Dee's manager. So it was kind of like a real quick and easy slide in there and get the script and the offer in front of her.
Oh, fantastic. Did you have to do a pair play deal with her, or was it just continued on, I'm showing up and I'm working?
We were already moving forward. We were going to be shooting, I want to say we were maybe 4 weeks out when we cast her in it. So it was, here's the offer. Can you be on a plane on such and such a date? And she said yes about 2 days later, and we were off and running.
On the film, the creatures, how were they created? Was it 3D or actual made up ones?
So actually they're an actual creature. They're called vinegaroon scorpions. We found these insects, and they're they're native pretty much to, I believe, every continent for the most part, at least tropical continents. We found these specific varieties out of the Southwest. And so we have those that we use as the actual live creatures. And then we had small little puppets, parts of the bodies made for other sequences. And then we also had animatronic elements of them made that you see inside of the teddy bear. So it's kind of a mix. And then on top of all of that we did practically, we also, I'm a big fan of practical effects, but we also used visual effects to kind of tweak it and make it just give it that little extra hint of creepiness and realism in post.
Are these scorpions actually poisonous?
No, they're actually, they derive their name, vinegar and scorpion, because they excrete, their defense mechanism is they excrete sort of a vinegar smelling secretion, and they spray it toward not their prey. They're not, I don't believe that they're really predator insects, but it's more of a defense mechanism. So they spray this vinegar-like substance, and then they run off and scurry and hide under a rock. They smell awful. Luckily, they can only get about 1 or 2 squirts a day out, and then they're kind of done. So it didn't stink up the set too much.
Did you have to do anything with the COVID compliance at all for your project?
We wrapped production literally a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks before the shutdown happened. So we squeezed it in right before we had to lock down. So COVID was honestly not even really much of a conversation other than just in the news here and there. And then literally 2 weeks later, we were shut down, and we had started post, and with sort of the unknown of what was going to happen, we shut down post-production for about 5 weeks, I think it was. We had some other corporate and commercial projects that we were doing, kind of prioritized those. And then we came back in and began post again, I believe, in mid-April of 2020.
How many days did you actually shoot the film?
15 days. We shoot them quick. We shoot them fast. Part of its budget, a big part of its budget. I mean, I would love to have 30 days or 45 days, but we don't have the money for that. So yeah, 15 days of production, and honestly, it's the same crew for the most part that I work with on all of the films that we do, and we have a shorthand. We all work together on other projects outside of the stuff that I produce, so we have a shorthand, so we're able to kind of move fast. I try my best to keep us at 10-hour days. We don't do it all the time, but we do it fairly often. I think on this one, we might have went over 3 or 4 days, hit 12 hours. But yeah, we're kind of a lean and mean production machine, I guess.
Well, you've done a lot of work as a cinematographer and as a director. What do you like about each one of those jobs? I love cinematography. It's what got me into the business, what I was really drawn to in the beginning. So it's the visual element of it. I mean, I as far as an artist goes, I really see the visual side of things being what I'm drawn most to and what I think that I'm the strongest at. But directing brings a whole nother level of challenge to it, because I love the visuals, but then the performances to me are what make a film. There's a good actor friend of mine years ago told me, and I 100% agree with it, the worst cinematography in the world doesn't necessarily destroy a film. As long as you've got really strong acting, you can still be drawn into it. And I do believe that. If you have strong acting, it can sort of overshadow almost any other technical deficiency that you may have. So I think that's what directing to me is, that I become a part of that conversation to kind of help craft that world that I think is sort of the bedrock of cinema. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give somebody just starting out in the business wanting to be a cinematographer or a director?
Pick up a camera and go. I'm self-taught. It's funny. I'm self-taught. Built up my own company and started doing commercial production, but the key to it was just picking up a camera and learning and getting lights. Don't just think a camera does it. Understand lighting. Just teach yourself. Just practice your art. Right. It's what I also teach at University of North Carolina School of the Arts. I'm on the cinematography faculty. And one of the things I tell my students always is we can have all the technical conversations, and we can teach you, what the name of certain lights are and certain ways that you can utilize them in the craft. But really what it comes down to is just you working and just understanding the art, and getting time behind the camera and forget the rules, kind of play with them. You got to stand by the rules, but you've got to also experiment and just learn what you're good at and what you're not, and use those strengths to better your art.
Somebody wanting to get into the horror film genre, do you have 5 films that you would suggest that they watch for techniques?
Oh man, 5 films. That's a tough question. I still go back. Like I said before, I'm a big fan of the '80s. That's my childhood, right? So I would go back to The Thing, and I would go back to The Shining. I would go back to really any of the John Carpenter era stuff in the late '70s, early '80s. I think it's less of like specific films, but I would say it's more of that era. To me, that's when horror was the best it could be. Whether it was Friedkin's The Exorcist, The Omen. I mean, it's '80s, '70s, kind of that era. I think really invest in that, because I think a lot of modern films are a little too, I don't know, corporate, I guess. So it's hard to really identify anything more recent. But I'd say go back to when they were really great, and learn from them. What did they do? It wasn't the visual effects. It was great story. It was great scripts, and it was fantastic performances.
Have you ever had a horror film movie that has scared you?
Oh, yeah, maybe it was circumstance, but this is a strange one. And Rennie Harlan did a movie about 6 or 7 years ago, and it was about what was it? The Etloff Pass, the Russian, it was a found footage movie. And I can't remember the name of it now, but it was a Rennie Harlan movie, found footage. I don't know why, but it totally had me kind of shaking my boots a little bit.
Yeah, the only one that's really ever scared me was Phantasm. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yeah.
When that guy goes, boy.
Well, there was something about this one that he did, which I would never have thought that Rennie Harlan would be a director I'd refer to as scaring me. But again, it might have been that it was Netflix on an iPad late at night, and I was just in the right mood. But man,
yeah, that's I remember I had the lights off, and it was like 11 o'clock at night, and then all of a sudden then that guy goes, boy, and I just was like, okay, that's it. And I've gone back and rewatched it since. So do you have a little plate full of stuff according to your IMDb of other projects that you're working on? What do you got coming up next that's going to be coming out?
Yeah, so we've got. I have another film that we actually shot before The Nest called 7 Days Till Midnight. It's not a horror film. It's more of it's more of an art piece to a certain extent. And we're just now starting the process of getting it submitted to festivals. So that's up and coming here pretty soon, hopefully. And then outside of that, I'm still trying to figure out what the next movie is. I'm going to 100% invest into it and produce. COVID kind of, threw things up in the air, and I kind of just said I was going to sit on my hands for a year and finish up post on these 2 current projects before jumping into something else. So I'm still trying to figure it out. And part of it is I want to see how the audience reacts to The Nest, because I'm particularly proud of this movie. I think that we did a lot of what I set out to do, even with the limited budget that we had. But I'm kind of trying to figure it out, I guess is a good question. I'm not 100% sure of which one I want to do next, but I have about 3 that I'm attached to right now.
I know your daughter is going to say The Nest 2, and I want above title billing, my own trailer.
She's fantastic. She tells me she wants to do movies, but only with me. And I'm like, well, honey, I can't cash in everything that I do. I said, this was a special occasion here. This just happened to work out, and it was the perfect role for her. But one of the things about every movie I've ever done, and this goes back to even the days with just working as cinematographer 10, 12 years ago, my kids always make little appearances in the background. So even in The Nest, I have 4 kids total. My other 3 children are actually in the opening sequence at the yard sale when the teddy bear is purchased. So they all make little cameos here and there.
Hey, to make a little money, a little allowance money.
Yeah, plus it's part of why I do what I do. I produce these movies here because I want to spend time with my family. So I love having the family on set.
That is awesome. Say an actor decides that they want to get into one of your films. What's the best way to approach you?
We are very much an open sort of studio. Shoot me an email, shoot me a demo. But when we do castings, we go through agents just like any other film. So really, I produce a lot of stuff locally. So if you're in the Southeast, that's definitely a benefit to us because travel costs money and we produce them tight. But yeah, honestly, it's through the agents. But if somebody in particular has an attraction to what I'm doing, then feel free to reach out. Always open to have conversations.
And where can they find you on the internet? Are you on Facebook, Instagram?
Yeah, pretty much everywhere. If you look up Subtle Film, SUTTLEFILM, it'll pretty much show up everything I'm attached to. It'll show up under that. Yeah, we're pretty much everywhere.
Great. And look forward to seeing the movie on all my different channels that I have.
So that's it. That's it. I mean, we're stoked, man, to have the 2-week exclusive, but then also, we're going to be wide on VOD and on cable and satellite. So yeah, this is fun for a small movie like what we do to have this wide of a release. We're definitely stoked.
Congratulations. And James, thank you for stopping by today and sharing about your movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, man.
Well, that wraps another School of Hollywood. I hope you enjoyed it today. Be sure to like the podcast, tell your friends about it, and I got another exciting one coming up later in the week.